वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Hare Krishna. So we will begin the next chapter, continuing our study and our discussion from Śrī Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa. And yesterday we discussed how Maharaj Daśaratha sought the help of his friend, king of Anga. What was his name? Pranab?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Rompada.
Yeah, Maharaj Rompad. And in particular, what was the help sought?
He married Devi's daughter called name.
Rompada married his daughter. Huh?
Gave his daughter to Rishi Shringa.
So Maharaj Daśaratha wanted to perform Aśvamedha sacrifice, and also there was a desire to have sons. So he was tipped by whom? What was the secret, Pradeep? I'm asking you, Pradeep, don't remain stone-faced. Unmute and speak.
I don't know, Prabhuji.
See. Did you hear yesterday?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Then how can you say you do not know? You are lying. It's a blatant lie if you say you don't know. You can say that I don't recall or I don't remember. But how can you say that you don't know? This is sheer nonsense. It really disturbs me. We discussed for more than 1 hour, and after, speaking the subject matter, you say, I don't know. Then what were you hearing? You have to answer. I will not accept this nonsense. As if after eating, you say, I don't know whether I ate or not. Were you deaf? Were you not hearing yesterday? Purushottam, you explain. You were
हरे
hearing?
कृष्ण प्रभु।
Yeah. आपने सुना था कल?
नहीं प्रभु, कल नहीं सुन पाया।
चलो छोड़ो, मिस ही रहने दो. I'll move on. So this is preparation for Aśvamedha sacrifice. I know you know, Sonika. You are hearing with heart. But what about other? What is the use of hearing if they are not tuned in? That means they are showing their face here that they are hearing, but the heart is somewhere else. Daśaratha satisfied Risheshringa by offering him obeisances with his head and accepted him as a priest for the sacrifice. Great quality of Maharaj Daśaratha. Daśaratha as compared to one character in Srimad Bhagavatam. Name the character. Similar situation, but very opposite response. Narika, answer. Daśaratha satisfied Risheshringa by offering him obeisances with his head and accepted him as a priest for the sacrifice. I am talking about one character of Srimad Bhagavatam. Same situation, but very opposite reaction or response. Yes, Ravinder, you got it? Bolo? Unmute karo bolo. You're not able to hear you. Unmute and speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Bolo?
Drupad Maharaj.
No. Drupad is not there in Mahabharata. In Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Very famous character. Rather infamous. I've given you a big hint. Ramya, why your video is off? Daksha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Daksha. Daksha's son-in-law is Lord Shiva. And he was also performing sacrifice. And when Lord Shiva came, Daksha felt that Shiva should bow down. And he cursed Lord Shiva for not having done that. But you see here, Maharaj Daśaratha, his son-in-law is Risheshinga. But what is being said? Daśaratha satisfied Risheshinga by offering him obeisances with his head. And how, advanced or higher position is of Maharaj Daśaratha, both in terms of stature and age. But still, this is Raj Rishi. Then Sumantra brought Suyagya and others, and with their permission ordered the ministers to acquire the paraphernalia required for the sacrifice and release the sacrificial horse. They did so. So this is about the Aśvamedha sacrifice. Tataḥ kāle bahu-tithe kasmiṁścit sumano-hare vasante samanuprāpte rājño yaṣṭuṁ mano. After many days. So after many days of what? After many days means? You should be able to be with the storyline. What does it mean after many days? Yes, Purushottam?
After Aśvamedha, horse sacrifice for.
No. Horse sacrifice is not begun. After many days means what? Yes, Pranav?
Prabhuji, Rishi Singha arrived at Ayodhya.
Yes. Rishi Singha, not only Rishi Singha. Rishi Singha and Shanta. So the entire Ayodhya had welcomed them. And he was not impatient, just trying to fulfill his purpose for what he brought Rishi Singha. So they really served Rishi Singha. And after many days, since the arrival of Rishi Singha and Shanta, on a certain very charming day at the beginning of spring, King Daśaratha decided to perform the sacrifice. When Sumantra had reminded him, on the pretext of being affectionate to his son-in-law, he brought Rishi Singha along with Shanta. Then at the right time, he started the preparation for the Aśvamedha sacrifice as he has previously planned. He desired to perform a Sangrahini Ishti. This is a preliminary ritual in the Aśvamedha sacrifice. So these are the details. On a certain very charming day, that is on the distinguished Purnima. Which Purnima was it to begin? Yes, Ramya?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Chaitra Purnima.
Chaitra Purnima. Yes. So he waited for that very charming day. And how long it was the wait? It was wait for many months, at least 2 seasons, 4 months. free from astrological defects and inauspicious, that is on the Purnima of the month of Chaitra. Here comes the point. It is ordained in the scriptures that one should proclaim one's resolution to undertake the Aśvamedha sacrifice early in the morning on Chaitra Purnima and then perform the Sangrahini Ishti ritual. Tata prasadya sirisa tvam vipram deva varnitam yagnaya varayam asha shantartham kushalya. Then bowing down his head and offering obeisances unto the Brahmana Rishishanga of celestial lustre, Daśaratha accepted him to perform the yajna to have sons to continue his dynasty. When Daśaratha had to accept a sacrificial priest to perform the Sangrahini Ishti, he first accepted Rishishanga as the Brahma priest for the sacrifice. So he was the chief priest for performing this sacrifice. Tateti cha sa rajanam uvacha sa sushatkrita sambhara sambhrayantam te turagasche vimucyatam. And Rishishanga said, all right. Being well respected, he then told the king, have the ingredients procured and let the horse be released. Tato raja abhavat vakyam sumantram mantri sattamam sumantra ahvayaya shipram ritvijo brahma vadina. Then the king spoke those words to Sumantra, the best of the ministers. Sumantra quickly called the priests and the Vedic mantra reciters. The king then invited and accepted the Adhavaryu. These are the other priests and other priests. There is a detailed procedure for inviting and accepting this priest, and the king followed the procedure. The sage Vālmīki summarizes this in the next text. The sacrificial priests are called Ritviks, for they perform sacrifice during seasons. So who are these priests, which are called here as Adhavaryu? The king then accepted and invited the Adhavaryu, another priest. So their names are mentioned here. It was mentioned before also. Suyagyam Vāmadevam cha Jabalim matha Kashyapam Purohitam Vasishtam cha Ye chapi anne dvijataya. Suyagya, Vamadeva, Jabali, Kashyapa, the priest Vasisht, and other choice gods. So these were the sacrificial priests who would begin with the rituals. Tatha sumantra stvaritam gatva tvarita vikrama samanayatsa tan sarvan samarthan ved paragan. Then Sumantra, a person of rapid speed, quickly went and brought all of them who had thoroughly studied the Vedas and were capable. Tan pujyatva dharmatma raja Daśarathastada dharmartha sahitam yuktam slakshnam vachanam avravit. Then honoring them, King Daśaratha of dharmic nature spoke these sweet and appropriate words, expressing his need for piety and prosperity. Mamalala apamanasya putrartham nasti vai sukham tadartham lae medhena yakshamati matirmama. I have been continuously in a state of lamentation with no happiness because of wanting a son. Maharaj Daśaratha speaking. To whom? To all the assembled priests. Therefore, I have concluded that I should engage in an Aśvamedha sacrifice to get a son. Normally, we see an Aśvamedha sacrifice is for what purpose? Yudhishthir Maharaj, did he perform Aśvamedha sacrifice for getting a son? Anyway, the secret will be revealed. Tad aham yaṣṭuṁ icchámi sāsadrishtena karmana rishi putra prabhavena kāmam prapsyami chāpiham. To elevate all obstructions and difficulties, I desire to be initiated into the scriptural procedure. By the influence of the sacrifice conducted by Rishi Shanga, the son of sage Vibhandaka, I will attain my desires in the form of sons. So this is a very important procedure. Now, before any sacrificial performance or any sacrificial activity begins, what has to happen is he has to be initiated into the scriptural procedure. Recently, we saw the installation at Ayodhya, the deity of Ramalala. So what was the initiated procedure? The Prime Minister had to go through that procedure for how many days? 11 days. Rather 15 days or so. The chief priest was mentioning about it in his speech, that how strictly Narendra Modi ji followed it. So this is there. This is coming from parampara, from the old age. And this is what the rishis, the Raj rishis used to do. So King Daśaratha voluntarily said that I desire to be initiated into scriptural procedures. Tatha sadho iti tadvakyam brahmana pratyapūjayan vasishtha pramukha sarve parthivasya mukhachutam. All the brahmanas headed by Vasishtha congratulated the words from the king's mouth by saying, good. The rishis were also very happy to see the king becoming a rishi for this performance of sacrifice. Vasishtha and others recognized that the king was praising Rishi Shanga and they were happy with him. The Brahmanas were learned in the basic principles of Vedic knowledge about the potency of proper performance of Vedic sacrifices, which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 3:10 as Sahayagna Prajasištva Puravocho Prajapati Anena Pravashyasthya Yeshova Ishtakamadho. So this is a reference from Bhagavad Gita, that how the sacrificial performance are there, that the human beings, they perform sacrifices to satisfy the administrative head, demigods and Lord Vishnu. Rishya Shanga Purogasya Pratyachurnipritam Tada Sambraha Samhriyantam Te Turagasya Vimuchyata. This verse came before also. Almost the same verse. Sambraha. Yeah, this is the third text. Second line is exactly the same. The 11th text and the third text. Sambraha Samhriyantam Te Turagasya Vimuchyata. Exactly the same. Anyway, the Brahmanas, headed by Rishi Shanga, also replied to the king, arrange for the sacrificial ingredients and release the horse. Sambraha is sacrificial ingredients and Samhriyantam is to arrange. And interestingly, Turaga means the horse, the sacrificial horse. And Vimuchyata means to release, to set it free. Sarvatha prapyasya putram chaturo amita vikramam yasyate dharmiki buddhi yam putrartham agata. Since you have come up with this dharmic idea to obtain a son, you will certainly have 4 sons of unbounded prowess. Who is speaking? Dayashil, who's speaking?
Rishi Singha, Prabhuji, Rishi Singha.
Yes, Rishi Shringa. He was so pleased. He was so very well received that from his heart came this blessing. That you have come up with this dharmic idea to obtain a son, you will certainly have 4 sons of unbounded prowess. So this benediction came from the mouth of the Brahmana, who happened to be his son-in-law also. Based on Sanat Kumar's prophecy, they mentioned 4 sons. So actually, it was already prophesied by Sanat Kumar. Tatha prito abhavet raja shrutva tu dvijabhashitam amatyamsya abhavid raja harshena idam subhaksharam shubha-aksharam. Will not be harshena idam shubha-aksharam. Harshena means to bring joy. So, what was the joy? The Shubh-aksharam, which came out from the mouth of Rishi Shringa. Hearing those words of the twice born, the king became pleased with delight. This is Harshena. He became delighted. How? By Subha-aksharam. With the words. Hearing those words of the twice born, the king became pleased with delight. The king spoke these words filled with auspicious syllables to his ministers. Gurunam vachanam shigram. Wow. Gurunam vachana shigram sambraha sambrayantu me samartha adhishtatas chasva sopadhyayo vimuchyata. So in accordance with the instructions of my gurus, who is the leading guru? Ganesh, you are hearing?
Vasishta.
Vashishta, very good. Vashishta. The chief guru is Vashishta, although the sacrificial priest is Rishi Shringa. So in accordance with the instructions of my gurus, so including both Rishi Shringa and also Vashishta, quickly arrange for the sacrificial ingredients. Release the horse protected by capable men as well as the priest. The sacrificial ingredient in this connection pertain to the release of the sacrificial horse. The horse is meant to be protected by 400 persons. The priests in the connection are the 4 sacrificial priests. Who are these 4 sacrificial priests? That will come. Saravyas chottare tire yagna bhumir vidhiyatam shantayas cha abhivardhantam yatha kalpam yatha vidhi. Prepare a sacrificial arena on the northern bank of Saryu. Increase the performance of rituals that destroy obstacles to such auspicious activities in the prescribed order and as per scriptural regulations. The king selected an area pious and fit for the sacrificial performance as stated in the scriptures. He selected the northern bank of Saryu, where it would be secluded. Sakhya kartum ayam yagna sarvanepi mahishita na aparadho bhavet kashto yadi yasmin kratu sattame. Very important. He is speaking his heart. That na aparadho bhavet kashto. If there would be no offense or calamity in performing this best of sacrifice, every king would successfully execute this sacrifice. So it was not easy, because there was always this possibility of both of calamity, and the calamity was due to some offense. Siddham hi mragayante atra vidvamso brahma rakshasa vignitasya hi yagnasya sadhya karta vinashyati. So where the calamity was coming from? It was spoken before also. Here again it is being said. Who would bring it? Brahma Rakshasa. Brahma Rakshasa experienced in the manner of performing the Aśvamedha sacrifice search for offenses in carrying out this sacrifice. The performer of the destroyed sacrifice perishes immediately. So he was very cautious. He told his ministers that there should not be any offense or there should not be any calamity. Why? Because he wanted everything to be done in a very, very disciplined and a regulated way, as per the scriptural way, as per the instruction of his priest. Once DT installation was happening in Amsterdam, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ji. And you know, in Amsterdam, there was no one trained. Prabhupada had opened London and Paris, and after a few days, he opened Amsterdam. There was no one trained. And when Prabhupada came to install Lord Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, he saw nothing was adequate in terms of preparations, in terms of arrangements, in terms of scriptural regulations. Prabhupada many times, Prabhupada to preach and to give opportunity to those who were new in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada did not enforce so many rules and regulations. But Prabhupada at that time became very, very dissatisfied. And in the presence of everyone, he really chastised the president there and the senior devotees that I cannot call the Lord of the universe, Jagannath, to be present with such inappropriate and inadequate measures. And Prabhupada really was very heavy. If you read Prabhupada Leelamrit, it is there. Any one of you read that section? Read. It is there. There was a live TV coverage going all over Amsterdam. And Prabhupada was yelling and shouting and chastising and thrashing his disciples like anything. And one foreigner, Mataji, she was hearing. She came as an audience. And when she saw Prabhupada, she said, this is a genuine spiritual master. He is not looking for what others are thinking or speaking or what they will think. And next day, Prabhupada gave initiation and she was one of the initiates. She immediately took shelter of Prabhupada. That this is the genuine spiritual master without any compromise. So here, Maharaj Daśaratha does not want to make any compromise. So he is telling again and again his ministers, in particular, Sumantra, that there should not be any compromise. And it has to be tad yadha vidhi purvam me kritur esha sampyate. It has to be done very vidhi purvakam. Please endeavor to complete the sacrifice of mine without any offense. You are competent in sacrificial performance. Please endeavor to complete the sacrifice of mine without any offense. So particular he is. Tatheti cha tatha sarve mantrina pratyapūjayan parthivendrasya tadvakyam yatha agnapatam akurvata. After hearing his instructions, all the ministers honored him by saying all right and did what they were ordered by the king. Tatho dvijaste dharmagnam ashtuvan parthavi rishabham anujanatas tatha sarve punarjagmur yathagatam. Then those twice born praised that king who knew dharma, and then with his permission, all of them returned as they had come. Gateshu atha dvij agreshu mantrinastannaradhipa visarjayitva swamveshma pravishesha mahadviti. When the best of the twice born had departed, the greatly majestic king dismissed his ministers and entered his home. So this is before. So this is the preparation, planning, arrangement before the actual sacrifice or the ceremony can begin. So this chapter ends here. Let me take the next chapter also. Let us see if we can complete small chapters. So now the scene is set. So now Daśaratha comes to the sacrificial arena. Daśaratha humbly requested Vasishtha to take on the full responsibility of carrying out the sacrifice. Vasishtha organized all the people required to carry out the activities of the sacrifice. So responsibility has to be there. There cannot be any auspicious event without someone taking responsibility. And here we see Maharaj Daśaratha is specifically giving this responsibility to Vasishtha, sage Vasishtha. He then arranged for Sumantra to call for kings from all places with the permission of Vasishtha and Risheshanga. So these are the gurus. Daśaratha entered the sacrificial arena at an auspicious time with others. Samanuprāpte vasante tu purna samvatsaro bhavet prasavartham gato yaṣṭuṁ āśvamedha viryava. See what's the word? Sanskrit, not very difficult. Samanuprāpte vasante tu. When the sacrifice has become time of Vasant, the Vasant Purnima. When spring had arrived again, it was 1 full year, not short. See, the preparation took 1 year. The powerful king then went to perform the Aśvamedha sacrifice to generate sons. In spring, Daśaratha conducted the Sangrahani Ishti on Chaitra Purnima. On the second day, he performed the Brahma Avadana ceremony, wherein he distributed boiled rice to the chief priest of the sacrifice, tied up with the sacrificial horse, had it bathed, sprinkled and sanctified water, and released in accordance with the scripture injunction. When he had the Savitra, another Homa sacrifice conducted every day in accordance with the scriptural rules. When 1 year was over, he left for the sacrificial arena. The sage Vālmīki describes this in chapter 13. This is chapter 13. It was 1 full year, that is, it was the dark moon night Amavasya, to generate sons during the upcoming Purnima. King Daśaratha went to the sacrificial arena on the northern bank of the Saryu in order to perform the Aśvamedha sacrifice. It is enjoined that on the Amavasya, at the end of the first year, one should perform sacrificial rites such as constructing the fire altar and being initiated into Tridhata via ritual. Tridhata via ritual in the sacrificial arena only. Abhivadya vasishtam cha nyayata pratipujya cha abhavat prasritam vakyam prasavartham dijottamam yagno me kriyatam vipra yatoktham muni pungava. Having offered his obeisances unto Vasishtha and having honored him according to the scriptures, he spoke words of humility to that best of the twice-borns, in order that he may have sons. O Brahmana and best of sages, please perform this sacrifice of mine that has begun as described in the scriptures. As per the scriptural injunction, the sponsor of the sacrifice is forbidden to independently carry out any activity from the beginning of the Brahma-Avadana ceremony. So this was Daśaratha, in which the Brahma priest is accepted until the end of the horse sacrifice. He is also not allowed to personally and directly present the sacrificial ingredients, for only the Adhuvaryu priest is supposed to do all such activities. Vasishtha had been accepted as the Adhuvaryu priest, and hence King Daśaratha beseeches him as described in this chapter. So there were many restrictions then for Maharaj Daśaratha, because he was the Yajman, he was the sponsor of the sacrifice. So he was forbidden to independently carry out any activity. He had to seek permission from Adhavaryu priest, that is Vasishtha. Yatana vigna kriyate yagnangeshu vidhiyatam. Please carry it out in such a manner. So Daśaratha is speaking that no obstacles are created by the Rakshasas regarding the procurement of the ingredients, invocation of the deities, and carrying out the activities of the sacrifice. Bhavan snigdha suhirin mahyan gurumscha paramo mahan vodhavyo bhavacheva haro yagnasya chodayata. Your grace has unbroken affection towards me. You are a well-wisher, the best and factually incomparable Guru here. This is Daśaratha Maharaj speaking to Vasishtha Muni. Therefore, your responsibility for the inaugurated sacrifice should be borne by your grace. See how he is addressing. Vasishtha was even better than Vamadeva, another priest, and so he was factually incomparable. The word cha in the second line signifies that Vasishtha should also carry out his responsibilities as the sacrificial priest. Tatheti cha sa rājñam abhavat dvijasattvama karishe sarvam evate bhavataya samartitham. That best of the twice born told the king, all right, I shall execute all that you have fully prayed for. Tato abhavat dvijan vriddhan yagna karmashu nishtithan sthapatya nishtita steva vriddhan parama dharmikan karmantikan shilpakaran vardhekan hanakanapi ganakan shilpinas cheva tatheva natanartakan tatha suchin shastravade purushan subahu shrutan. He then spoke to the senior twice-borns, their experience in the performance of sacrifice, those who have been engaged by kings in the past as supervisors for procuring sacrificial ingredients, elders, family adherent to Vedic Dharma, full-time laborers, manufacturers of brick and so on, carpenters for making the sacrificial implements and pillars, excavators for digging lakes, ponds, and the like, writers, painters, actors expressing mellows, dancers expressing attitudes, as well as very well-learned persons who were pure knower of sacrificial guidebooks. So there were many. It's a big arrangement. 1 year when it took for planning, how many more people were required? Yagna karma samihantam bhavato raja sāsanāt ishtaka bahu saharsi shigram anitam iti. On the order of the king, get busy. So all of them got busy with the sacrificial work at hand. Quickly bring several thousands of bricks. In 8 verses, the author describes the order issued by Vasishtha. So all these orders are not given by Daśaratha. Daśaratha has already given the responsibility and charge to Vasishtha Muni. So the author describes the order issued by Vasishtha. The first half of the verse is directed to the sacrificial priest. The second half is directed to the brick manufacturers. Apakarya kriyantam cha rājñam bahu-gunānvita brahmana avasthasceva kartavya shatasha shubha. For the kings build accommodations that may have many excellent features. Auspicious residence for brahmanas should also be made by the hundreds. Bahu-gunānvita Apakarya indicates that residential facilities for kings should be constructed and they should be excellent. That is, if they should be tall and wide. Bhakshyana pane bahubhi samupeta sunishchita tatha paurya janasyapi kartavya bahuvishrita. The houses should be well equipped with several hard fruits, grains and drinks, and firmly constructed. There should be similar elaborate arrangements for the townspeople too. So though these were so many details are given, it's a long chapter. So I'll stop here. Elaborate arrangement is being made by Vasishtha. So much preparation, planning, and execution of the sacrifice Aśvamedha. That is why we don't see anyone doing Aśvamedha. It is over. That era is over. No one has the resources, neither there are priests. So it cannot be performed. Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to contribute? Which can I? Today is also the disappearance day of Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur. Very, very special Acharya, who gave us the first biography, the authentic biography, the detailed biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Chaitanya Bhagavat. Somehow by good fortune, I have spoken and glorified Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur couple of times, few times. Pranab, you have the recordings?
I had one lecture in 2017.
After that also I have given, that is 3-4 times been given this opportunity. Yes, Sonika.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, today you discussed that the Aśvamedha Yajna was going to be performed for in the desire of son. But in yesterday's class, you mentioned the term Putra Kameshti Yajna was to be performed.
Wait. No, this is what I was again emphasizing. That Aśvamedha Yajna we have never heard for sons. And we see Rishi Shanga very profusely saying that you will have 4 sons. He's already given the prophecy. So we will know, we will cross the bridge as it comes. Why should we speculate? We saw one twist yesterday that Shanta was the daughter of Maharaj Daśaratha and Rishi Shanga is the son-in-law. So Putra Kameshti was mentioned in the purport, so I brought it about. I did not bring it off my own. We will see what will happen. Which yajna will be performed and how. Okay, very absorbing. So try to connect in this consciousness. Try to prepare in this consciousness. I have stopped giving other classes also. I said no. I'll put my focus for Ramayana only. So that very difficult to connect our consciousness. Very, very difficult. The distraction is so very overwhelming, very difficult to connect. So at least make a concentrated effort that we can actually feel to be in Chitrakoot and Ayodhya. Otherwise, it will yet be another so-called tourist kind of excursion. At least most of us are going for the first time to Chitrakoot and Ayodhya. Anyone who has been to Chitrakoot before? You've been there, Shri?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have went for some official purpose, Prabhuji, official purpose. I could not visit any places there.
That is, then what? Did you connect to the consciousness of Chitrakoot? Then what is the point? That is what I say. We don't want to remain like that. That we just go spend one day and come back. Most important is to connect through our consciousness. Hear, read, write, prepare, pray, so that we can connect. Thank you very much. Śrī Vālmīki Rāmāyaṇa ki Jai.